Hey guys, welcome to Get Better Progress on Monday, October 31st. The level 1 workout for today is for time. Ooh, chipper. 30 alternating box chair step-ups, 30 banded rows, 32 for two-footed jumps, 30 walking lunges, 30 sit-ups, 30 banded overhead press, 30 supermans, and then 30 air squats, 20 burpees, and 32 to 4 inch hops. So it's a mouthful here. You definitely want to write this one down, have your phone sitting right here as you're doing the workout. And you just have to do each one of these things one time, which is actually really cool, at least in my brain, because it's like I'm doing a bunch of different 30 rep workouts and I just have to get through those 30 reps and then I'm done. And you move on to it and you're completely done with that movement. I actually really enjoy these style of workouts. So make sure that you're fluent in all of them. So you go through the whole long warm up so that you can feel what everything feels like. And then you go ahead and hit it and see if you can, like a lot of these things, you're probably gonna be able to do 30 just right in a row, and that's awesome. And you move on, and there's some things you may get caught up on, like we did 20 reps for the burpees instead of 30, because I feel like that is gonna be something that's gonna be more in line with some of these other things. But go ahead and work your way through there. If you have a strategy for some of these things where you might have to break them up into multiple sets, that's fine, and do that, and really go ahead and have fun on this one. All right guys, see ya. For the alternating box chair step-ups, you're going to be looking for a chair or a box or an igloo cooler like this. Then what you're gonna do is all of the other things would apply as if you were doing a lunge. So what you're gonna be doing is squaring up to the box, stepping up, keeping your knee in line with the toe or to the outside of the foot. So like the pinky toe area, weight's gonna be on the heel of the foot. You're gonna drive through the heel, keeping your chest up nice and tall. You're gonna come up fully and then go back down on the other leg, coming down to the ground, touching the foot, and then repeating on the other side. All the whole time, you're keeping your body aligned by having the knee pointing in the direction of the toe or the pinky toe, keeping the chest up, and then repeating. You're also gonna wanna engage your core. You wanna be driving through the heel so that you're engaging your glutes and hamstrings as much as possible, and then breathing, which is gonna be easier if your chest is open and up and have a good posture. For banded rows, you're gonna take a band like this or whatever band you have available to you. You're gonna put it around a solid object that is not going to fall over when you decide to pull on it. Then what you're gonna do is make sure the band is nice and even. From there, you will go into a semi-squat position to give yourself leverage against the band, and your shoulders are gonna be slightly rolled forward. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your chest up nice and high, and you're gonna pull the shoulders and the elbows back as the band is coming towards your abdomen. Then you return the band and the shoulders to the forward position, and then you pull back again. The idea is that you're gonna feel like you're trying to squeeze something with your shoulder blades as you pull this. So I'm trying to pull my shoulders down and back as I pull the band towards my abdomen, all right? You could do it, pull the band in different locations, like up or down. Most times though, people have a hard time contracting their lower lats, so I recommend pulling the band down, not down like this, but down with a bent arm towards your abdomen rather than towards your chest, where a lot of people keep tension and have more tendency to pull into this tightening position, and we want to pull down and back for the banded row. For the 5 to 6 foot, two-footed jumps, you're going to essentially measure out 5 to 6 feet or whatever feels like it's a good challenge for you. And then you're gonna take that same, you're gonna take a same position that's like your running form. So your feet are gonna be underneath your hips. You're gonna be in a great postural position with your shoulders back and your chest up. You're gonna swing your arms back, and then you're going to throw your arms forward and let your momentum carry you in that direction as you explode with your hips. So you're gonna back, forward, catch, turn around, and repeat. You're gonna wanna make sure that when you hit the ground, you let the knees bend, the knees kind of go to the outside. That puts the force up into the glutes rather than being very rigid and keeping the force in the joints, and you do not want that. So you're gonna take one jump, turn around, take another jump, and repeat that process, jumping off of 2 feet, trying to use your arms as momentum and keeping your back flat, hinging at your hips. All of the same things that we talk about for all of the other movements, they all apply to all of these things. For walking lunges, there are a couple of things that you want to make sure that you're thinking about as you're doing the walking lunges. The first thing is that you're going to take a nice big step out. And what this is going to do, or what our goal here, is keeping the knee in the direction of the toe or slightly to the outside.
Then we're gonna drop down with this back leg, trying to create a 90-degree angle at the front knee and the back knee. So if we take a look from the side, it's gonna look just like this. We've got 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, and then the weight is gonna be on the heel of this front foot. So we'd almost flutter the toes in order to keep the weight on the heel. The important thing about keeping the weight on the heel is that it puts pressure on the glutes, or it adds to the contractile ability of the glutes, and keeps the knees safe. Because if we have a tendency to step forward on this foot and then go onto the toe here, it puts pressure onto our knee and our kneecap area, which we want to avoid for the longevity of that particular joint. Not to mention, this glute muscle here is our big prime mover that we want to activate anytime that we can. So if we're going to be doing a multiple walking lunges, we're going to take a nice big step, creating 90 degree, pointing the direction of our toe, driving through the heel of this front foot, coming up and switching to the next side, and then continuing on. From this side is the same thing, just going back and forth. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Have fun. For sit-ups, we're gonna lay down on the mat here, all the way down, putting our feet together with a bent knee. I'm gonna touch above my head. I'm gonna throw my hands up and then follow my chest up until I can get up and touch the toes of my shoes. And then repeat the process. So touching the ground, coming up and touching the toes, and using my momentum to do so to get myself up and down out of the sit-up. For a banded overhead press, you're gonna take your bands with the handles on. You're gonna take 1 or 2 feet and step on that band. I usually like to just do 1. I'm gonna curl the band up so that the bands are behind my arms here. And then from there, I'm gonna press all the way up overhead until I'm in a locked out position. And I'm return to the start position where my hands are at my shoulders, chest is up, abs are tight, and I'm going to be squeezing my glutes as well. So I'm gonna press up overhead and then return to the start position. Overhead and return to the start. You could also do this with 2 feet on the bands, and that might feel better with less rubbing on your arms, and that's totally cool as well. And lastly, if you wanted to make this even more strange or make it harder, you could do it with the band in front of your arm and then pushing back as you do this movement. This would be one that you would do in this fashion if the band was not heavy enough and you wanted to make it harder for you. Try it this way, you'll know what I mean, all right? So then when you're done, you're gonna reverse curl back down to the ground and then step off of the band, getting yourself out of the whiplash way. For air squats and any other squatting position that you're gonna be doing, you're gonna take your feet into a slightly wider than hip width stance, slightly externally rotated toes. You're gonna initiate the movement by pushing the hips back, pushing the knees to the outside, dropping just below parallel, and then driving through your heels to get back up to the top. So you're going to be looking something like this, and from the side, like this. And what you're gonna try and avoid is having your back round as you get down to the bottom. So if you feel like your back is rounding, you're gonna go down to the point where your back stays flat, and then if you feel it starts rounding, you're just gonna go right back up. So you would just stop yourself in that position. The other thing you can do is push your knees to the outside in order to get yourself into a lower position with a flat back, and push your knees forward. So you start by initiating hips back, hips back, hips back, and then push the knees forward in order to drop yourself down into a lower position. That's totally natural and fine as long as you're pushing your knees to the outside towards your pinky toes. For the regular burpees, you are going to take a squat stance, which is basically your squat position, feet slightly wider than hip width, toes slightly externally rotated. You're gonna initiate the burpee actually by pushing your hips back, reaching for the ground, touching the ground, hopping all the way down, coming up onto your knees, hop up onto your squat stance, jump and clap at the top. So we're gonna do a few of these quickly. You can jump into them a little bit more. We're still trying to keep our back as flat as we can, or you could step down, it's fine as well. Step up, jump and clap. Or if these are really not feeling it for you, you could crawl down and crawl up, still trying to keep your back flat, still trying to keep your knees in line with the toes, pressing through the heels as you come up out of the lunge position there. Now I have done all positions of the burpee, even in be in good shape. So it is going to not be any, it doesn't really matter, is what I'm trying to say. If you feel more comfortable doing it one way than the other, do it that way. You don't have to jump up. You don't have to step up. You can crawl up. You can do it any way that feels comfortable for you, but it's still a movement pattern that should be trained, because we do end up on the ground from time to time and want to be able to get up efficiently off of the ground even as we age. So keeping ourselves in good postural positions as we're doing that is going to be really important, no matter if we're jumping, stepping, or crawling up. For double unders or 2 to 4 inch hops, whether you're jumping twice over a jump rope or jumping 2 to 4 inch hops, the same position is going to apply, where you have your feet underneath you, a little bit narrower, but it's pretty similar to a running start position. Chest is going to be up, shoulders are going to be back, hands are going to be at your sides, and you're going to jump from your ankles or your calves, trying to avoid too much bounce in your knees. So you're going to be bouncing right here, trying to get 2 to 4 inches off of the ground. Whether you're spinning the jump rope or just tapping at your sides or just jumping, either way, it's going to be all the same, whether or not you're adding in those other things. You're just trying to keep the weight bouncing from your ankles and your calves and avoiding overbending at your knees, and that's going to make it easier for you. And if you have your chest and up and your shoulders back, it's going to be easier for you to bring air into your lungs, so the whole movement pattern and movement over time is going to be easier for you. That's the workout for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Log your scores and sugar, and we'll see you on the next workout.